Thing 2. The Demon Team last time around, Nick Adams.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Good heat. Semi-final this. Thing 2 spinning. All torque with the power. We saw that very early on when it pushed Crippler into the pit, and now shoving Thing 2 across the arena floor. It's the quicker of the two robots. It's the heavier of the two robots. All torque. I would say Thing 2, because of its shape and the prodding ram at the back, has the more potent weaponry. That's that lifting arm too, Thing 2. Now spinning away to come in on the bulldozer front of All Torque. Trying to get itself in a position here, All Torque to come in and flip Thing 2 up. Against the arena wall, back again. The lurid livery of Thing 2, splendid. There's the lifting arm with the spike. Bashing against the bulldozer front of All Torque with those specialist tyres, custom made for extra traction. Controlled by 4 QD speed controllers. All Torque, get up to around about 20 miles an hour. Now pushed to one side again. Thing 2 spinning away. Lovely, lovely LED lights. Illuminating the eyes of what came off there. I think it was the claw, the Thing's claw, with the ball, or the ball cock, as Philippa thought it was earlier on, has gone flying on the arena floor. So they get a lot of these robots in Robot Wars, gleaned from scrap yards and household items. Oh, a splendid battle this now. Bumping and barging going on, ramming and shunting. Up and over goes All Torque again, bashing down to the arena floor. Good aggression from both bots here. Bravery. Good driving control as well on the attack now. Thing 2, wheels spinning, pushing back All Torque with that extra traction. This is a great heave-ho, heave-ho. Thing 2 spins to come in again on the attack. Really evenly matched, these two robots. All Torque slightly the heavier. But a good old contest. Again, Thing 2 on the attack, backs away. To rev up, crashing forward, they miss each other. Bashing against the arena wall. Slammed together there like some great old medieval joust, but missed. Joust in fog. The fog and smoke created by the house robots. They turn again to come in on with a bash there on the front of Shunt. We can see the camera as Thing 2, the aggressor, pushes All Torque into Shunt. A lick of flame. A bash. A crash. Metal crinkled and buckled and bent. The dream's still alive. But for how much longer? Shunt slamming in with the axe. I don't think All Torque can get out of there now. And I think they've gone. They're immobilised, All Torque. And now the victims are the house robots only. Thing 2. Nick, Isabel and Jake Adams. And Cerberus from Greek mythology with Vasa, Theo and Alex.
Activate.
Thing 2. The niftier, speedier looking robot. Great design here. You really have to hold your hat off to them and applaud the work that's gone into the design of the robots in this series. And Thing 2 shoving the dog from Hades towards the flaming pit from hell. Both of them turning, trying to psych each other out. Cerberus leading with the steel ramming head. Don't forget it had the circular shore taken away. It was a hardened blade which can shatter against the rules, but they battled bravely on to reach the heat final. Ooh, a stutter there for Thing 2. And again, trying to get the sort of front battering ram type scoop in underneath Cerberus. A bit of a lurch from the Adams family, Thing 2. And a way to attack Cerberus again. A push back onto the flame pit. A hop and a jump from Thing 2 into the CPZ. And Matilda's in there with the tusks and the glaring eyes and the temperament problem. She goes and sees a shrink twice a week and back into the arena for battle. One day Matilda will get better. One day. Cerberus spins to come on the attack again against Thing 2. What's happened here? To Cerberus and the steel clubbing tail. The linkage is gone. It's come away. It's flipped up and over. And decisive attack from Thing 2 in the heat final. Marvellous driving by Nick Adams and Isabel. Cerberus up and over, and the dog from Hades is showing its underbelly, and it wants a little bit of a tickle, and it wants respite and relief because Cerberus has been dogged to death by Thing 2. Pushing up and over after the steel clubbing tail seemed to have been ripped away, and Thing 2, marvellous competitors, great fun, and worthy winners of this Robot Wars heat. Wild Thing, though, reached the semi-finals in Series 3 before being beaten by Panic Attack. Family team.
2, 1, activate.
Wild Thing from the right. The Steel Avenger slower to start. Wild Thing quickly across the arena floor again. Look at that little lance on the front of the lifting arm to prod and skewer the side panels of the Steel Avenger. On the attack again. Those cones on the side of the Steel Avenger act as self-righting mechanisms. An innovation from the Suffolk team for this series. The axe tentatively rocked in its cradle. Wild Thing getting away from Sir Killalot. We've seen great driving from Nick Adams in this heat in the Wild Thing team. There's John Willoughby, the driver of the Steel Avenger team. Oh, and down comes the mighty weapon. Kevin Cockrell's at the control of that weapon. The mechanical expert is Tony Bentz, warehouse operative. And slamming against the house robot on the arena wall went the Steel Avenger. Wild Thing nudging underneath the Avenger. Got a ground clearance of a couple of inches. Now that is quite high for Robot Wars, actually. The Wild Thing's ground clearance, minimal. At the front, nothing at all there. The wedge shape against a more old-fashioned sort of a chassis for the Steel Avenger. Onto the flame pit. Wild Thing side on. I wonder also if those conical little stream mechanisms are acting as a protection. Let's see if they can right the Steel Avenger, having been toppled by the Wild Thing's thrust. They said the little cones could right the Steel Avenger. Well, we'll see, because now they're in major trouble. They can't right the Steel Avenger. The right side cone flicks out. There's nothing on the left. The axe can't lift the Steel Avenger. Wild Thing waits to see if they've won the heat. Sir Killalot comes in. I thought all along those side panels could be ripped away. I thought that would be the weak thing on the Steel Avenger. That's the way it's proven. There's the pit descending. They've come a long way via Humphrey, via Sir Cromalot. They've been great fun, the Steel Avenger team, but it ends here and now for them. Wild Thing gives the last shove, allowed to do so by the house robots. And Wild Thing have won Heat M. An Exterminator from Hereford, Marlon Pritchard, Paul Lewis and Simon Baldwin.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Wild Thing play hoopla with Exterminator. You can see the extra hoop on top, and there's the flipper trying to get in underneath Wild Thing, but at the moment Exterminator using his power instead, and look at that, very little traction on the wheels of Wild Thing, and that was sheer brute power from Exterminator, pushing Wild Thing into the CPZ immediately. And I think that was the breastplate it was, and Killalot's come off there in the CPZ as Wild Thing just squeezed away, it caught Killalot's breastplate and pulled it off. So now we see a nude Killalot, which is certainly new for Robot Wars. Don't get too excited. Exterminator locked onto the arena sidewall, needs to get out from there, does so, slowly, surely. Wild Thing turns, lurid red flames painted on its body shell there. Well, it left itself a wee bit vulnerable on the attack to Exterminator's flipper. This is a very even contest, as we thought it might be. Exterminator starting the stronger with that hugely powerful push. Can get up to 25 miles an hour, Exterminator too. Wild Thing now, though, you see, back on the attack, and Exterminator's in the CPZ, and Wild Thing spins and gets it away. Seems to have more manoeuvrability across the arena floor, and worrying times here for Exterminator too. They need to get up and away. The flipper's still working, the light's still blinking. Wild Thing's eyes are flashing. They come in again for another broadside attack, this time trying to nudge Exterminator into a further CPZ. For me, if this one goes to the judges, Wild Thing are just getting on top now. Clever driving as well by Nick Adams, using the broadside approach onto Exterminator into the CPZ, and now dead metal, look at that! Oh dear! Hot knife through butter! slicing through Exterminator 2's aluminium shell very, very easily. Exterminator getting it away, but Wild Thing once more on a drive, this time using the wedge check to get in underneath. Exterminator got a ground clearance of 15 millimetres. Exterminator, that was too vulnerable coming into a semi-final, and they're toppled. And that's it, I would imagine, now for Exterminator. They can self-right because of the flipper, but I don't think they're going to. They also have self-righting arms on either side, and I think you'll see the arms are bent. You can see the arms are bent there. Also, the hoop they added for self-righting ease has not worked. It's all over for Exterminator, I'm afraid. The arms are bent and buckled. Oh, in comes Dead Metal with a real slam. Look, they're trying to get the flipper just to nudge Dead Metal away. It's not going to work, though. And we hope perhaps that Exterminator can live to fight another day. They were knocked out in Series 3 by Panic Attack in the Heat final. This time they've made the semi-final, but no more for Exterminator. The Herefordshire boys are on their way out. Marlon Paul and Simon Baldwin, and it's the Adams family who will march on. There go, Exterminator, out of the semi-final.
6.
Wild Thing, Nick Adams. The driver, Isabel, his daughter, is the weapons operator. Ooh, grimace too.
2, 1.
Manor School in Aldershot, Isabel and Jake. They really fancy this one. And why have they got the lifting arm raised so high? No, in on the attack, the Wild Thing underneath it. So that's a promising start. A little bit of a spin. Fronting up against Hypno-Disc again. Is that wise, I wonder? Oh! And immediately sent spinning away. Look at this. Bang and crash. Like a spinning top out there, but balanced on that little rear wheel. And again, trying to use the wedge to flip Hypno-Disc up and over. And that really is the only tactic they can have, I would imagine, Wild Thing. A bumping, buffeting effect off Hypno-Disc. Hypno-Disc with a 1.5 inch ground clearance. So if they can use that wedge and get it underneath, it'll be interesting. A bang and a crash. Wild Thing turns away, still under controls. Nick Adams, a fine driver. Oh, but look at the damage sustained there on the side. Really bent and buckled, Wild Thing. And now wobbling and hobbling somewhat. And now crumpled and dented. And Hypno-Disc senses that victory and a place in the series final is just around the corner. And poor old Wild Thing have done just about everything they could. A shard of metal went flying across the arena then. Look at it, it really is damaged. Not Hypno-Disc, but Wild Thing, of course. One of the tyres totally crumpled, running awkwardly, but driving Hypno-Disc so bravely back into the claws of Dead Metal. Could this yet provide a huge upset? Wild Thing, Nick and Isabel Adams, and young Jake, so brave. Hypno-Disc gets away, comes on another charge. Is it just me, or is that disc spinning a little bit slow? It was just me. Don't worry, Hypno-Disc fans. The Wild Thing, how about this? For a battle, they've stopped the disc now. The disc has been stopped. There's the ref bot coming in. Can they immobilise Hypno-Disc? The Rose boys try to become a thorny subject for Wild Thing once again. And in the end, it was so brave, and the applause is for that team. So brave as they fought back.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Wild Thing, heavier, faster, more experienced. You can see its red cutting disc, and if you look carefully, the green spinning disc of Trouble and Strife set lower on the machine. And if you look carefully as well, you can see some damage, I think, already caused to the armour of Trouble and Strife. Just a few scratches and dents. Wild Thing doing all the aggressive work. There's the front flipper of Trouble and Strife, powered by the 2 kilo CO2 cylinder. There are controls of Wild Thing. Nick Adams loves his radio, model car racing, and he loves his Wild Thing machine. Oh! For a minute there, I thought it was going to topple over. Has its own streamet, would have been all right, Wild Thing, but this is a struggle here for the experienced Wild Thing machine. Look at this. Went on the attack, was flipped. The spike actually balanced the machine, and down they came, but little bit of problem there for the wheel hub. Just bent and buckled, and should this go to the judges, that will count against Wild Thing. They've got a problem there, they're not running freely, and that wheel looks badly buckled. Wild Thing is in a real survival battle here now. Semi-finalists in the third series of Robot Wars and the fourth. But here against newcomers Trouble and Strife, in real trouble themselves, doing the pressing, doing the aggressive work, but they need now a KO, I think. Otherwise, Trouble and Strife could yet put the Adams family out. Almost edge into the CPZ there. Matilda, of course, awaits with the heavy flywheel. We've seen it cause so much damage in past Robot Wars. Certainly Trouble and Strife around the rear is damaged, and they were pushed in there to the CPZ and taking pressure and punishment from Shunt. That's a good drive by Wild Thing. I think Trouble and Strife will just survive and go to a referee's decision. It's going to be very, very close, and they've taken severe damage late on.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
They may not have anything up their sleeve, but Prize Fighter hardly harmless. And they come forward now and immediately go on the attack on Wild Thing. Oh, Wild Thing got dangerously broadside on, and that's where a flipper can be its most destructive. Wild Thing, of course, here have the spinning disc, which can cause real mayhem to Armory. But Prize Fighter and the Alcott boys, and there we can see Bill Morse, their great pals, seem to be okay withstanding that attack of Wild Thing, which still seems to be wobbly on the tyres and now flipped over. Prize Fighter dodging, dancing around the ring and waited for the opportunity to get that jab in. Good boxing in the Robot Wars arena. Wild Thing now is seeing stars. Has to get back into the fight, and quickly flicked again. And once more. Now you need to get out of that CPZ, Prize Fighter. Wild Thing in trouble, but Prize Fighter opening itself up there momentarily for an attack by a house robot, but he's in underneath Wild Thing again. Prize Fighter knocked out in the first round of Robot Wars 3 and Robot Wars 4. Wild Thing twice a series semi-finalist, but I don't think we'll be going through to the series semi-finals this time around. The wheel wobbles on top, underneath the wheel churns and turns and tries to get some purchase on the arena floor to flip Wild Thing up and over. It's not going to happen. Prize Fighter releasing the pit of doom. Wild Thing crashes down. Time is running out for you, Nick Adams. And daughter Isabel, who controls the streamer, with Jake, who also has a hand on the spinning disc. They've got to push Prize Fighter towards the pit. Wild Thing, can they come back in? Prize Fighter digging in. Put the old brakes on there rather sharpish, didn't they? Tuck in and save themselves. And Nick Adams nearly pulled it out of the fire there. May yet do so. One tactic, push Prize Fighter towards the pit. There will be irony in there because Prize Fighter activated the pit release. What a good battle this has been. A fitting heat final. Tremendous stuff for a place in the series. Semi-finals later on, of course. Wild Thing, as the second stick down, tries to push Prize Fighter into an angle grinder. Gonna go to the judges. Very, very close. Prize Fighter dominant early on. The Wild Thing fighting back well. Terrific stuff.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Good old battle this, eh? Chaos, nifty, as I said, quicker than Wild Thing. Flipping Wild Thing. In underneath. Wild Thing technically with a 0 ground clearance. That doesn't really matter. Again, our poor old pit release. Tyres come off the arena sidewall. Chaos 2's flipped over. Can right, of course, using that hugely powerful CO2 front flipper at the Srimek. Wild Thing topple once again. This is furious, fast, frenetic action in the Robot Wars semi-final arena. They turn, they twist, they manoeuvre. The buzzer sounds. That means the pit is descending quickly. They have to avoid it here towards Francis to the controls of Chaos 2. Dancing the dance with Wild Thing's Nick Adams, dad to Isabel and Jake Adams, who've grown up around the Robot Wars arena. Wild Thing under pressure. Semi-finalists in Series 3, beaten by Panic Attack. Semi-finalists in Series 4, beaten by Hypno-Disc. Semi-finalists in Series 5, will they be beaten by Chaos 2? Oh, almost turning turtle. But Nick Adams can bring Wild Thing back onto the attack. They slam, they crash. Sparks fly. It's brilliant control. Wild Thing very nearly had Chaos 2 in the pit. Look at that, right on the lip, and George Francis dug in. And the motors burn. And Chaos 2 pushed back. Just surviving George Francis. In comes Dead Metal, in comes Shunt. Slamming down there onto the top of Wild Thing, almost lost underneath the house robots. Chaos 2 with the flipper wedged in underneath. Wild Thing, moments ago on the verge of victory, now fighting for survival perhaps. Chaos 2 once again bumping and barging. Wild Thing is tossed, will self-right, levering itself up on that arm. Tries to get the 6,000 RPM spinning disc into action. They are still here, courageously fighting back, and Chaos 2 again, toppled onto its side. How did they stay out? How on earth did they survive another onslaught? Look at this. Surely they must go into the pit of oblivion. And George Francis breathes again and lives another Robot Wars life. The clock is ticking down on one of the most bruising and thrilling Robot Wars battles I can ever remember. Fantastic.
What an amazing battle!
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Will the new kid on the block, 259, destroy Wild Thing? Who've been there, done it, put the logo on the back. 259, bunching and bruising into Wild Thing, tossing it over and over and over. Look at this. This is determined destructibility from 259. Dog with a bone there. Wild Thing. Can there be any life left after that sort of formidable onslaught? Well, Nick Adams is very experienced. He's a good driver. And he turns Wild Thing away from the blade onto the side of 259 to hold on there. Holding on for grim death, really. Stay away from that spinning flywheel. Oh, has the wheel stopped? Wild Thing got away from that sort of bashing and bruising, and then the spinning wheel seemed to stop. Now, this could be absolutely decisive, because without that wheel, what has 259 got? At the moment, he's running away, to be honest. He's pressed the pit release button, Adam Clark, and now it becomes very cagey, and I wonder who's got the extra thrust and shove. 259 weighs in at 100 kilos, Wild Thing 97. But Wild Thing, piggybacking up on 259, has turned this battle on its head there. I don't know whether it was by design or luck, which is what Nick Adams said they'd need at the start of this show. And certainly 259's weapon being immobilised has played into Wild Thing's favour. Now it becomes a real tug-of-war. Wild Thing pushes 259 back onto the flame pit. This is real nip and tuck now. Oh, and do you see the belt there, right in the arena centre? That's Adam Clark's weaponry drive belt that's come off. So no wonder that big old circular disc is no longer spinning, and Nick Adams looks on. Wild Thing has come right back into this after 259's destructive onslaught early on. Now, is Wild Thing still going? Can Adam Clark yet turn this battle, or is his machine finished? I think 259 is immobilised. There's the belt. I think it is finished. Well,
Cease.
this is a major upset. For me, Wild Thing will go through.